Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Thank you so much for coming by to check out today's video. So today I am finally sitting down to make a requested video that has been asked for numerous times from you guys on the subject of math. And if you are new to my channel and you do not know, I currently have an 11th grader, 10th grader, 8th grader, and 6th grader. And so we have done our fair share of navigating the difficult waters of finding a high school math program that has pretty much everything that I wanted it to have and everything that I needed it to have. So today I'm sitting down to give you guys my review and my thoughts on Shormann mathematics, or dive into math, if you are not familiar. Of course, a lot of this information could be found if you went over to their website and looked at it yourself, but I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion in this review as well. So we are going to jump into my review, and then I will take you guys through a look with one of my children at some of what the online student platform or portal looks like, so you can visually see what I'm actually kind of talking about, what it looks like, the layout, that kind of thing. So that will be after the review. And if you are so thankful that I am sharing high school math wisdom with you before you get there, please hit that thumbs up right now on this video. All right, so I am a huge proponent of giving credit where credit is due. And I actually have to give credit back to a lot of you guys who when I came to my math realization that what I was using previously was not adequate, it was not sound, it was not enough, it just was not going to work. I reached out, I think on Instagram, and I said, for high school math, this is what I need it to have. I listed my criteria and you guys sent me your recommendations. Now, of course, as a mom of older kids, there's not as many things out there, so the recommendations can be kind of more slim, like the choices are a little more slim. But one of the commonly recommended ones was Shormann mathematics. So I have to give credit to, and I don't even know if she's doing social media anymore, I don't even know, but one of you guys said, go check out Colleen's video at Simple Joy Filled Living on Shormann mathematics. And so I did, and I thought, that looks pretty good. That looks like what we need. And so I made the switch. And so I have to give credit. That is how I heard about Shormann math. And it is a literal answer to prayer. I can tell you right now, before I get into all the nitty-gritty details, that this math program is the only math program I will use for the rest of my homeschooling journey, meaning all of my other kids who are younger are going to be coming up in the same way and going through Dr. Shormann's math program. So, spoiler alert. But I do have notes. I made a whole page. I am always the most prepared when I bring you guys a review, because sometimes I think, okay, I'm going to give you my review, and then I get on here and I just kind of want to tell you I love it, so the specific things that you guys want to know. All right, so that's a little bit of the back history on, what I was looking for. It was when my daughter was going into the 9th grade, when my oldest daughter was moving into the 9th grade. I had her previously doing another math program that actually had her in Algebra 1 in 8th grade, but it was a struggle. And I knew that she, just from my basic memory of Algebra 1, I knew that there were some missing pieces. I knew that they weren't covering all the things, and I was really concerned about her continuing on without having that firm Algebra 1 foundation. So when she started Shormann math, I actually had her do Algebra 1 again, and that was the best thing I ever did, because not only was she a freshman in high school, so Algebra 1 wasn't going to put her behind, but Shormann incorporates geometry into Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. So there's never a full year spent on just geometry, and I'll share more about that in a second and why. But so she was gonna get geometry, so I knew it was gonna have some elements of new, but I did have her retake Algebra 1, and it was the absolute right choice. So if you are coming from, and I don't like to bash other curriculums, but there's only a few that you can choose from. If you are coming from another online math program that you're like, I don't know if this is really doing the job, I would recommend doing Algebra 1 again with Dr. Shormann. So, of course, there's a lot that I love about it, but I'm going to run you guys through my list and kind of share a little bit of backstory, but of course I'll link to it down below. And the best way for you to learn about a curriculum is to go and read all of the information yourself. So Dr. Shormann actually did some work with the creator of Saxon Mathematics. I don't know the extent of their relationship. I don't know all of those details, but I do know that the two of them were affiliated at some point. And then when the, I think his name is John Saxon, but I might be wrong. When he passed away, a company purchased his math and changed it, and then that's when Dr. Shormann said, you know, I need to keep these principles alive and create my own math program. If you want to read more about that, if you're a curriculum nerd and you love knowing all the ins and outs and details, it's right on the website. You can go and read about it. That's the very cliff noted version. I have no partiality to Saxon math. We actually had never done Saxon math. When my kids very first started homeschooling, we started with Horizon Math, and then we moved on to teaching textbooks, and then we moved on to The Good and the Beautiful Mathematics, not in that order, but as The Good and the Beautiful came out with math, then I incorporated that. So my oldest kids had primarily done Horizons Math, teaching textbooks, and then now Shormann Mathematics. So that's kind of the history there of his kind of startup. And if you know about Saxon Math Method and all of these things, there's a lot of information that I didn't want to bog down in this video, but basically to summarize it for you guys, to make things easier for you, the Saxon Math Method, John Saxon, if that's his name, Dr. Saxon, I should really be more prepared with names here. They really he believed in a proven teaching method for math of giving bite-sized lessons and continual review. So that was his method. It was a bite-sized lesson and continual review of all of the previously mastered or practiced concepts. Now, there's different methods when it comes to math. You know, you have the spiral learning method, you have the what's the other one? Gosh. Like the one where you get it and then you never do it again. What's that one called? Someone comment down below. Gosh, my brain is not working today. I need a drink. Mastery, that's what it is. There's mastery programs and there's all different ones, but the Saxon he believed and had proven references for this, that children learn best when they get a bite-sized lesson and then they continually review those concepts. And I have seen that to be true. Pointless review is very redundant, like just a whole page of review. You know, your kids can think, oh, okay, well, that's really boring. I've already got that figured out. But when it's woven into some of the new things, then it's like, okay, this is really good. And Shormann Math does that. So that's kind of how he started. That's where he came from. This is a biblically based math program. Yes, God is the author and creator of mathematics. God is a God of order. He is a God of things working and making sense and equations being solved, and Shormann gives all glory to God and gives a greater purpose to the kids for understanding mathematics versus just being able to solve the equation. It talks about why we as Christians need to do math and why we need to understand math, and I love that biblical worldview is brought into math, and Dr. Shormann does a very great job of that. In the high school courses, so Shormann mathematics begins at pre-algebra, and it goes to Algebra 1, which is combined with geometry, Algebra 2, which is combined with geometry, pre-calculus with trigonometry, and then there's Calculus 1 and Calculus 2. And these are all available online on the website. So if you've got a child that excels in math and they want to take Calculus 2 in high school, they have that option for your child. There's very few high school math programs that go that high. It's just incredible. And the teaching and the lesson, it's just so good. But that's the sequence, okay? So pre-algebra, Algebra 1 with geometry, Algebra 2 with geometry, pre-calculus, trigonometry, Calculus 1, Calculus 2. That's what is available. All of the high school courses, meaning Algebra 1 and up, are going to have SAT, ACT, PSAT test prep questions in the lessons. So it doesn't like tell them this is an SAT prep question. It's just the way that they structure it, the course, so that your child is more than prepared to take those college placement exams if they choose to do that. So that is all woven in there, and they have a lot of facts and stats on their website if you want to go and read about how well they prepare your students to take those tests. The video is taught, the lecture portion of the lesson is taught by Dr. Shormann. He is Dr. Shormann, so it is expert video instruction from a math teacher. When people try to teach math that are not excellent math teachers, it can be very difficult. So all of the lessons are taught from Dr. Shormann for the courses. There is auto grading on every course, and all of the homeschool moms said hallelujah all at once. Auto grading is amazing. I am so thankful. If you are a mom who has multiple children and grading, it can be a doozy and it can be a big task to do every Friday. Auto grading is amazing. So your kids are able to see immediately what problems they got right, what ones they got wrong. If they take a quiz, if they take a test, they're gonna get a grade. It averages and does it all for you, and we are so thankful for that. Shormann math is self-paced. So your children are not joining in a live classroom setting. There's no one dictating that you need to be on during this time or that time. I think a lot of times some people get confused when you're doing an online program for homeschool. It's self-paced. So if you take time off, you go on vacation, your kids just pick up where they left off. They give you a long time to finish the course before it expires. I want to say it's almost 2 years. So you have plenty of time to get that course done, and it is all self-paced. If your child can't complete a full lesson in one day, they just come back to it the next day. If they need to split up a lesson in a couple of days, they can do that. You can do that. You can do with it what you want, structure it how you want. It is all self-paced. So going back to what I already talked about, so Algebra 1 with geometry, Algebra 2 with geometry. Most public and even private schools have it structured where it's a full year of Algebra 1, and then you take an entire year off of algebra and you just do geometry, and then you go back to Algebra 2. And even as a teenager, when I was in high school, I thought to myself, that is really dumb. Why are we doing that? Wouldn't it make more sense to do Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and then geometry. And turns out I wasn't crazy for thinking that. So Dr. Shormann is a huge believer, and the reason why he did it that way is that if you take a whole year off to just spend on geometry, you are losing that portion of your brain that you utilize for Algebra 1. Like all the functions, all the memory, all of that, you're not using it, so you're going to forget certain components of it. So to come back to it for Algebra 2, it's just very difficult. Everybody knows that algebra and geometry use entirely different portions of the brain, and that's why a lot of kids will excel at one or the other. And so he recommends, and the reason why his course is structured this way is that you do not take a whole year off from doing algebra. So they have broken up the geometry into 2 years basically, and it is a part of Algebra 1 and it's a part of Algebra 2. And this is also really good because if your child hates algebra and does better with geometry, they're gonna get some mixture of that, and then on the flip side of that as well. So I have seen that to be largely beneficial, and I'm so glad that we found Shormann Math and that my kids have been able to not take an entire year off of algebra. So now getting into some of the finer details, like the price point. The course is only $139, you guys, and everything you need for the course is online with the exception of some recommended optional calculators. So all of the rules and definitions, all of the text materials, all of that is online. And so it's $139, but here's the best part. It is such a blessing to us moms who have multiple kids, because if you purchase any class, like for example, I've purchased pre-calculus for my oldest 2 kids. Well, my youngest is in 6th grade, so it's gonna be 4 to 5 years before she's getting to pre-calculus. It does not matter. When she gets there, I will be able to use the sibling discount for that previously purchased course at the amazing price of only $39 for siblings. So that is incredible. It doesn't matter how many years it's been. If you buy the course and you have another kid coming, $39, and then they can use that course as well. So it is incredibly affordable for the quality and the level and the expert instruction your children are receiving. The course is structured with 100 lessons and quarterly exams and quizzes. Every course is set up, I think, similarly, but I don't want to quote wrong here. But basically every every quarter, so like every 25 lessons or so, they're going to take a quarterly exam, and then they have their last and final one. Every 4 lessons, at least that is the way it is for pre-calculus, they take a quiz, and it's like a 4-question quiz. And then they have their lessons, which are 100 lessons. So all in all, it works out to be around 120 lessons, which is very, very manageable if your child is doing math every day. We only do math in our homeschool 4 days a week, and it's honestly a blessing. It gives my high schoolers a bit of a break on Friday, and they really have grown to love that. And I will show you guys more about that when we get to the part where I'm going to take you into my son's actual math course. But basically, what my kids do for math is they log in, they watch first they print the rules and definitions. Those are kind of like the notes they're going to need for the lecture. They watch the lecture. My son does not take notes. My daughter takes pages of notes. So to each his own. And then they have their practice sets that they go through, and it immediately tells them if it is wrong or right. They can try it more than one time, and then it grades. And if they get it wrong, it will automatically pop up with a reference to where that concept was taught. So all they have to do is click on that to get back to that video lecture or that example problem to have help. They do have tutoring available. They do have help. They do have tech support. They do have tons of help if your child struggles with math. On the flip side, if your child excels in math, this program is also wonderful and challenges them and keeps them engaged and working hard. I've got both situations going on and it works for both of my kids. So I think that's everything I wanted to tell you guys about Shormann Math. It has been an answer to prayer in our homeschool, and it will be all I use for the foreseeable future. Now I'm going to take you guys to look at it from my son's login, kind of show you around what it looks like. It is so well done. It is just awesome, and I am so thankful to have found Shormann. Okay, so now that I've given you guys a little bit of a review on Shormann Math, or Dive Online, you know, however you want to refer to it, I am going to have my son take us through the actual student portal that they log into every day. So right here, this is the login page, and you can see there are 2 courses there that will show for all of the courses your children have taken for a certain amount of time. So basically our Algebra 2 time frame hasn't expired yet. I don't remember exactly how long it is, but that's there. He is currently doing pre-calculus. So I'm going to go ahead and have him click on that to show you guys. So when you log in, there is your course. It tells you when your enrollment expires at the top, and then over to the side, we have the entire outline of the course. So you can see there's lessons, there's exams. We talked about that already. Can you scroll down for me on the side there? And it shows you all the way till the end that there's 100 lessons, and then your exam 4, and then your certificate of achievement. So when he logs in to do his class, go show us where you would click. And right here, this is going to show you the lesson, and it's very easily laid out for them to follow. So they have a reading assignment, they need to print, then they watch the lecture. There's references, textbook pages if needed. Then they do the practice set, which is auto-graded, and if they get anything wrong, they watch the video solutions and see the correct answers. So that way they're identifying if they're not understanding a concept prior to moving on. So that's very helpful. My kids really take notes on their own. They don't. What are some things on here that you don't really utilize? Like, do you do every single thing, or do you not really?
I do everything. The
textbook pages after the lecture? You use the textbook pages every time?
Where are the textbook pages?
Right here. You use that?
Oh, no, I don't use that.
Okay.
Use rules and definitions.
So your kids will probably pick and choose what they print out and what they use. But basically, there's a reading assignment. Do you do the reading assignment?
Yeah, that's the rules and definitions.
The rules and definitions that they print out that are going to apply to the lesson. They watch the lecture. How long are the lectures?
Like,
on average?
Like 20 to 30 minutes.
So 20 to 30 minutes, and then they do the practice set. Shormann has different ways of saying, like, if they've been working on math for 2 hours, then, or an hour and a half or something, then they should stop. We've never really had that problem, but a few times, and I just want them to finish the lesson. So that's the way that we do it. Okay, so, that is what it would look like. Now, can you show us the other part of this that is important, which is the grade book? This is an auto-graded course, which is very nice, but you do have the ability to have them redo things, so you're still in control. So it auto-grades everything for them, and it's right in there, and then at the end of the course, you have their average grade, which is very, very helpful. They can see where they stand currently. So right down here, you can see those are point totals, but that's the current percentage. So that's really helpful, but you as the homeschooling parent are still in control of this. There are ways for them to redo things, but not quite as simply as just like deleting it and curating your own grade, like some other courses that we do. Okay, so go ahead and exit out of the grade book.
To take the practice set.
Yeah.
Wait. Nope.
We don't use the calendar
right
function.
It's busy.
There you go.
Okay. Can you click on a lesson to show like how it starts off?
Just like the lecture?
Yeah.
Lesson 13 is our fifth of 5 introductory plus review lessons on analytical geometry, and we'll start out by covering piecewise functions. And most patterns, they don't follow a single function, but instead they consist of multiple discrete pieces. So by describing one shape as multiple pieces, we can often gain helpful knowledge, including the gather it looks like. And so that is the correct choice here. A good understanding of your basic functions is helpful with this, and then just understanding how you shift things around. That is helpful.
All right, so that's a quick little look at what the lectures are like. It's a voice, it's not a body on the screen. It's Dr. Shormann, and it's really well done. So down here you can see that on this particular lesson, this lecture was 30 minutes long. So after this, then he would go ahead and move on to the practice set. So can you navigate to that?
Yep. I already did this one.
I know, but let's just click review for showing. And so you can see the problems, how they're laid out like that. And then it automatically tells your student if they got it right, if they got it wrong. And can you slow down for a second? And so it also records their response time, so you can see how long they spent on that particular problem. If they attempt it a second time, it does affect the grade somewhat, but we worry about, you know, making sure we understand things. So this is just a sample of what it looks like. So down here, it gives you the response history, when they started it, what's correct, when their attempt was finished. So that way, you know, you can see how long things are taking, if that's a problem. It also will show you right here, this is what I was talking about. So accounting for previous tries, it'll give half instead of the full point. So it's auto graded, and it's really, really, really well done. So that is a little bit of a look at what a course looks like. Of course, every level is different, but they are basically set up the same. And I hope that a little look inside is helpful.
I hope this was really helpful for those of you who have wondered about Shormann math. It's not necessarily super popular yet, but I see it becoming probably one of the top ranking high school math courses. Or math course suppliers out there, because it is so well done. Like I already said, this is the pathway that all of my children will follow. I am not looking for anything else. So from pre-algebra on, we will be in Dr. Shormann's math courses. So thankful. I've seen them work, and I've seen it help struggling math, periods, and challenge kids who really excel in math, and we just love it. I love everything about it. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any other questions, feel free to post them down below. But also keep in mind that if you head over to their website, which I've linked in the description box, you will find all of the answers to your questions. The website is very comprehensive, and it basically covers every single thing, especially the FAQ section. Check that out if you've got questions. But if you want to know something specific that maybe you can't find over there and you want to leave me a comment here, I will do my best to help you. I hope this video was helpful. I hope my review was helpful. And my hope is that I just can continue to share things that I have had to figure out in my homeschooling journey and make things a little bit easier for those of you who are coming in behind me. So thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you go. It's a free way to support my channel. Share this video with your homeschooling friends. That always is helpful too. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye.